When the arrogant and wild rookie, Vexx, first joined the team, he always loved to clash with me. But gradually, I noticed something changing in the way he looked at me. Fans flooded the comments. Bro, you're looking real good right now. Ray, your teammate is totally gay. Better guard your six and keep running. Just when everyone was shipping us like crazy, living for the chaos, Vexx publicly announced his new girlfriend and posted, "I am completely straight. Stop trying to pair me up with a girly man like Ray, okay? Anyone shipping us needs to get their head checked." 10 minutes after Julian posted his official announcement on X, formerly Twitter, it blew up the trending topics, which wasn't surprising. After all, he was highly skilled, insanely popular, and had a face handsome enough to cause a stir. For an esports player, a normal relationship announcement wouldn't be this explosive. The reason it blew up was, rather than a simple announcement, it looked more like Julian was desperately throwing a selfie with a beautiful woman in everyone's faces just to prove he was straight. And, as a bonus, he completely severed ties with his teammate. Unfortunately, that teammate was me. My in-game ID is Volt. Ray or Raymom is the derogatory nickname haters gave me because they think I'm too effeminate, hence bestowing me with the word mom. To be honest, I wasn't angry about this at all. Applying feminine traits to me was actually a compliment. It represents the strongest, bravest force in the world. Besides, I actually am a girl. The esports circle is different from the entertainment industry. Esports fans never coddle anyone. LMAO. Does this kid not know Raymom is a derogatory term? Volt has been carrying your team for 2 years. Even if he hasn't won at all, he's put in the work, right? And this is how he gets treated by a rookie? At VG_esports, if the org doesn't step in after this kind of public teardown, Volt will probably transfer next season, maybe even retire. Sigh, 3 consecutive runner-up finishes is too heartbreaking. Getting first in the regular season went straight to your head, huh? Tearing the team apart before the playoffs even start. Are you guys even going to play? Even as a hardcore Volt hater, I can't stand this. Julian is way too arrogant. Is this the future of the LCS? What a joke. Scrolling through these comments, I couldn't help but let out a soft scoff. It was true. Julian had just debuted this year. Just a few days ago, he won Rookie of the Year and regular season MVP. He was widely acknowledged as the future hope of the LCS. Yeah, widely acknowledged. I didn't acknowledge it, because I wasn't a guy. Volt wasn't me. It was actually my twin brother, Liam Sullivan. 2 years ago, he hit rank 1 on the North American server and signed with the VG organization for a multi-million-dollar contract. But then, the day before he was supposed to report to the team house, he slipped in the shower and broke his right hand. We originally planned to tell the truth, but the moment we saw the penalty clause for breaching the contract, we completely scrapped that idea. Left with no choice, I had to cut my hair short and pretend to be Liam to play jungler for VG. In ancient times, Mulan took her father's place in the army. Today, I, Lily Sullivan, was playing in my brother's place. Thank God the game he played was League of Legends. If it had been any other game, my brother and I would probably be bankrupt and starving on the streets. I originally thought I'd just stall for a bit, and once his hand healed, we'd switch back. But who knew? Liam's injury was too severe. Even after recovering, it was incredibly hard for him to regain his previous mechanical agility. And so, I stalled all the way to the final year of the contract. This year was my 3rd year playing for VG. I had an agreement with Liam. Whether he could make a comeback or not, I had to go back to living my own life. Therefore, whether Volt would retire depended entirely on the results of Liam's physical therapy. After Julian threw that massive fit, our manager, Dave, couldn't sit still. He rushed back to the team house in the middle of the night, only wearing one sock. He ran a hand through his thinning hair, his face etched with worry as he asked, "Jesus Christ, what the hell are you doing now?" Julian was messing with his phone, non-stop arguing with people in the comments section, not even bothering to look up. Seeing he couldn't get through to him, Dave forced a smile and turned to try and placate me. "Ray, man, why don't you post on X and clarify things? Just say you guys have a great relationship and Julian just lost his head because of those crazy shippers." I let out a cold laugh, turned my face away, and said nothing. The atmosphere in the practice room was heavy. Even our usually good-tempered support, Marcus, uncharacteristically muted his mic and continued grinding solo queue with a bitter expression. Finally, our top laner, Ethan, stepped up to break the ice. "We have a scrim scheduled with TG at 10 p.m. Let's stop queuing up after this game. I'll make the custom lobby. I'm good. I'm going out to the balcony for some fresh air. Call me when everyone's ready." Hearing my voice, Julian finally looked up. "My bad, Volt. I acted impulsively earlier and couldn't control my temper. It wasn't directed at you. I just think those fangirls shipping us are disgusting. Don't you think?" He flashed a toothy grin, but there was zero warmth in his eyes. His striking, arrogant face showed absolutely no sign of apology. Instead, it looked like he was faintly expectant. I stopped, frowned, and replied, "First of all, we don't have shippers. The entire league knows our relationship is garbage. It's all just trolls and haters intentionally trying to disgust people. Girls aren't that desperate. Stop fighting imaginary enemies and throwing around fangirls like an insult. Second, apologies require a sorry. And obviously, even if you said it, I wouldn't accept it." Finally, I hooked the corner of my mouth, looking him up and down scrutinizingly. "Julian, homophobia is just closeted behavior. What exactly are you afraid of? Don't worry, even if I were gay, I wouldn't be interested in someone like you. Straight guys really have this baffling delusion that everyone, male or female, is attracted to them." Julian was so furious he laughed. He sat there quietly, a storm brewing in his eyes. "Liam, before I actually get mad, you'd better take that back." "Okay, you're mad. Then what? You're going to int the scrims? Or post a few more tweets and have your haters come flame me with you? Go ahead, knock yourself out. I just lost my verified badge anyway. You guys can help boost my engagement metrics." I shrugged and smiled nonchalantly. Julian's face darkened significantly. I continued, "Julian, you're a pro player. Whether it's an official match or a scrim, if you want to troll, I can't stop you. The only career you're throwing away is your own. You think I'm like you? What gives a 3-time runner-up trash like you the right to lecture me?" Hearing this, my face drained of color. I clenched my fists tight. Seeing Julian about to say something else, Ethan stood up and said coldly, "Don't cross the line. Mind your own business." Seeing the situation spiraling, Dave quickly called the head coach over to separate us. I shook my head, sighed. I pulled Ethan to the side, then raised my head, trying my best to look Julian straight in the eye. "You're competent, and that's a good thing. But Julian, in esports, no one wins forever. We were currently on the same team. I wouldn't curse Julian to lose matches just out of spite, but I would wait for the moment he fell from his pedestal. Ray, Ethan, TG's mid laner is rushing us. Let's just play the scrim first." Marcus took off his headset, glaring blankly at Julian. Then he waved the two of us over. The three of us exchanged a look, and inexplicably let out a bitter laugh. Right. The 3 unlucky bastards with 3 consecutive second-place finishes were all right here. Julian really was a buy-one-get-two-free deal. Insult 1, get the whole package. The drama that night ended with the social media manager logging into both of our X accounts and posting a PR-crafted essay for each of us. They even posted a photo of the two of us with our arms around each other's shoulders, looking chummy. They hoped to dispel the rumors of a mid/jungle rift. It was just a pity that observant fans quickly deduced from our styling that the photo was from a commercial shoot last month. As for the scrim, there were no surprises. Julian still refused to listen to the draft plan or shot calling. He locked in Fizz, and proceeded to int across all 3 lanes for the rest of the game. I knew it. A mad dog like him would never listen to a word I said. Right before bed, a friend request suddenly popped up on Discord, and the message attached sent a shiver of disgust down my spine. "Volt, sweetie, I'm Julian's girlfriend. I can't take this anymore. Could I get any more ridiculous nicknames?" Holding firm to the belief that the enemy of my enemy is definitely my enemy, I simply blocked the friend request, pretending I never saw it. After the spring split regular season ended, Julian absolutely crushed the competition with 14 MVP awards, securing both the Rookie of the Split and the regular season MVP honors. On the podium, he was as ill-mannered as ever. The people I should thank the most for getting these awards are my teammates, right? Especially the jungler. If Volt didn't carry so hard, how would it ever be my turn to steal so many MVPs? The regular season awards ceremony wasn't a huge affair. They usually just breezed through it before the first best of 5, BO5, of the playoffs. So when Julian said that, I was sitting right behind him adjusting my peripherals. The broadcast appropriately cut to my camera feed, followed by a tidal wave of deafening screams from the crowd. Everyone knows esports doesn't have fans, only trolls. So no matter how much Julian and I hated each other, there were always spectators in the audience who loved the drama and shipped our pure hatred dynamic. Especially after Julian's announcement fiasco a few days ago, the number of our shippers didn't decrease, it surged. Rumor had it they were all doing it just to piss Julian off. And this massive wave of engagement, the event organizers obviously weren't going to miss out on it. So the host practically crossed the entire stage to shove a microphone in my face. I wonder what player Volt has to say about this. I flicked my bangs out of my eyes, deliberately lowered my voice, and replied, nothing really. As long as he knows he stole them, that's fine." Seeing Julian's face completely darken, I finally felt a bit of satisfaction. I smiled, pushed the microphone away, and went back to adjusting my gear. Marcus shook his head. "Why did you have to provoke him? He's just going to int again later. Let him. Are we supposed to coddle him through every match forever? I'm not his mother." Just as I finished speaking, Julian returned to the lineup to adjust his equipment. He strode past me and sneered, "That's not impossible either. After all, you look like a girl anyway." I opened my mouth, but didn't retort. But Ethan, next to me, furrowed his brow. Julian, can you watch your mouth for once? Why do you always butt in when I'm talking to Liam? Julian glared at Ethan over my head, looking incredibly annoyed. Referee, please help me lower the mid laner's volume. Thanks. Our newly imported Korean AD carry couldn't understand English well, which was fine, but he was also completely oblivious and couldn't read the room at all. He just thought Julian was being noisy. Consequently, Marcus and Ethan casually chimed in. Referee, lower the mid laner's volume for support. Referee, lower the mid laner's volume for top laner. Me, I couldn't lower it, because I was the jungler. League of Legends is a mid/jungle game. Even though Julian hadn't trolled in an official match yet, I still couldn't relax. I deliberately used his ID to give him a final reminder. Alright, Vexx, knock it off. We're entering draft phase. Playoffs have a double elimination bracket, so both teams played relatively relaxed. We ultimately moved on to the next round with a 3-1 victory. Team XY fell to the lower bracket to fight another day. I thought it was just an unremarkable BO5, but who knew? By evening, the hashtag VG team bullying was trending on X. It started because the pre-match conversation with the referee was cut into the official broadcast comms. Instantly, the internet exploded with different opinions. Feel so bad for Julian. I didn't expect Volt to be the only one who didn't join in. Minho Lee, the Korean AD, leads the bullying and you do nothing? At VG_esports, Koreans love pulling this seniority crap, and you just watch your own player get bullied? It's not that serious. What are Julian's mom fans throwing a fit about now? The drama clearly started on Reddit first. Stop blaming Julian's fans. What's all the fighting for? It's such a minor thing. Reddit guys are so petty. Can you just leave? Ethan scrolled through the comments section. Wow, Ray, I got my verified badge taken away before you did. Congratulations. I clapped calmly. Marcus had escaped disaster because he had already deleted his ex account. Minho Lee looked at him with envy. I just made a count. Tell me, are you jealous? After we played the final game last year, I traded my whole family's safety for it. After the finals last year, Marcus' mad cow disease hung on the trending list for 3 whole days. His entire family was almost confiscated by the netizens. Thinking back on it, he still had lingering trauma. He glanced at Julian, who was sitting nearby with his headphones on, and muttered, "What a joke. Bullying him? He basically bullies the 4 of us. Vouch. +1. I also gave a thumbs up, agreeing with Marcus. Julian let out a cold snort. It's not a big deal. I'll just clarify it and it'll be fine. It's all just people chasing shadows. Just don't mention it and it'll blow over. The official league is just milking our team for engagement." Dave stopped Julian, smiling bitterly. I looked at his thinning hair and felt a rare pang of sympathy. Let's just focus on the matches first. Winning fixes everything. TCH, stop looking so depressed, Dave. Just wait till I bring back that first place trophy for you. Julian deliberately emphasized the words first place. Looking at his arrogant, naive face, I sighed secretly in my heart. My final year will probably end with nothing to show for it either. Since the start of the season, the most discussed topic around the VG team was, could they break the second place curse this season? The answer was, we broke it, just in the opposite direction. This time, we didn't even manage to scrape a second place finish. We were unexpectedly knocked out in the semifinals, proudly taking home 3rd place. In that moment, the word defeat felt like a knife, stabbing viciously into my heart. It was over. My first half of the year. I closed my eyes in despair, then took off my headset, ready to face the hurricane of the fans' wrath. Marcus was crying so hard he couldn't stand straight. Ethan and I exchanged a look, helped him up, and walked to the front of the stage together, bowing deeply and ashamedly to the fans. We're sorry for letting everyone down. Julian wasn't with us. The moment the match ended, he threw off his headset and walked off the stage. He hid in the locker room and refused to participate in the post-match interviews. Ethan knocked on the door to no avail, his face dark as he cursed, "Coward." A few seconds later, Julian came out with red eyes. His voice was hoarse. "I'll take responsibility for the match I lost." Take responsibility with what? How many times did I tell you not to play so aggressive without vision? If you can't win the trade, call for help. Aren't you usually so talkative? Why do you turn mute the second you get into a game? You're still young. You're only 18. You have time to waste. We don't. Seeing Julian, Marcus, who had just calmed down, broke down again. He rushed forward, grabbed Julian by the collar, and roared. I rubbed my sore eyes, took a deep breath, stepped forward, and tried to mediate. "Alright, it's fine. You guys go rest for a bit. I'll handle the interview by myself. I'll go with Ray. We're top-tier damage sponges for getting flamed. Don't worry, and stop crying." Ethan patted Marcus, trying hard to force a smile. However, Marcus wiped his tears. "I'm coming too." After arguing for ages, Minho Lee only understood the word two, so he quickly raised his hand. "Two, together, no matter what do." I nodded. "Then together it is." Julian didn't say anything. He just silently followed behind us. Everyone has seen VG's investment this season. First, bringing in a Korean import AD, then outbidding XY to sign the rookie mid-laner Vexx. Dave, are you satisfied with this result? Dave forced a few bitter laughs, trying his best to rally his spirits. VG's goal has always been the championship. That will never change. We will go back and thoroughly review today's match. Please reassure the fans. Third place means missing out on MSI. Do you have anything you want to say to the fans? This year, MSI had 2 slots. It wasn't just the fans. I had also been full of anticipation for it. A dull ache suddenly flared in my chest. It felt like an invisible giant hand was squeezing hard, making it hard to breathe. And the most painful part was that I had to force a smile in front of everyone. I'm sorry for failing the fans' expectations. The team definitely has some issues right now. We will work hard to adjust and improve our communication. Player Volt, you mentioned at the beginning of the season that you would treat this year as your last and give it your all. Do you have plans to retire? I smiled, and it wasn't forced. Who can say what the future holds? For now, let's just cherish the present. After finishing all the interviews and recordings, Dave and the head coach let us out the back door. You didn't even need to think about it. The aftermath today was going to be brutal. Except the fans were experienced. They were already waiting at the back door. The moment I stepped 1 foot out, the curses hit me like a tidal wave. Julian, you arrogant piece of trash. You threw away massive leads every single game. Your champion pool is shallower than a puddle. You hijacked the draft every game, forcing us to first pick for you. Julian had more hardcore idol fans, who were clearly more experienced in fandom warfare. They rolled out a banner, perfectly synchronized as if they had rehearsed. Coach, step down. But the banner actually read, if the jungler can't carry, get out. Support can get out too. Wow. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Looks like they originally prepared this for you too. But seeing Julian's performance today, they probably couldn't bring themselves to yell it. So they just gave Coach Zhang a grand funeral instead. Yeah, nobody expected us to get eliminated today. Fan wars were common. Julian's fans probably just planned a routine flaming session today. Who knew? The plague hit right at the center. And that wasn't the end of it. Once the post-match interviews were published, the fans got triggered again, believing my comment about communication issues was shifting the blame onto Julian. So they arranged a trending topic package for me. Protect Vexx's freedom of speech. What's there to communicate with 4 useless scrubs? If he doesn't want to talk, he won't talk, so what? What are you gonna do about it? I just put down my phone, turned to Ethan, and gave him a thumbs up. Bro, I lost my verified badge too. Before the official break started, Dave organized an escape room team building event, saying it was to improve the bond between the 5 of us. I wanted to say, there was absolutely no need for that. But looking at his thinning hair, I swallowed the words back down. Forget it. It hasn't been easy for him either. For the sake of the bonuses I've gotten these past 2 years, I'll begrudgingly protect his fragile heart. When we were assigning roles, everyone was completely uninterested. Only Minho Lee was uniquely thrilled. He asked the staff member in broken English, "Are we going to an ancient Chinese wedding? Why would it be scary?" Marcus glanced at his AD and silently sighed. Ignorance really is bliss. Julian stood behind me, his face dark the entire time. I don't get what's so fun about this. It's childish. My shoulders are going to get crushed by you. I'm begging you, let go. Under the dim lights, his lips were pale and his eyes darted around nervously. They told us to walk with our hands on shoulders. Can't you just follow the rules? Fine. Seeing Julian act like this, I knew this team building exercise was going to be perilous for me. Sure enough, we played for an hour, and for 50 minutes, Julian was practically hanging off me. He and Minho Lee were on either side, yanking on my arms. The moment an NPC popped out, they almost tore me to pieces. In the end, Julian narrowly won out and dragged me into another corridor. He was much taller than me, yet because he was scared, he curled up and buried his head in my neck. I couldn't take it anymore. Get up. But he just shook his head stubbornly, refusing to let go no matter what. I cracked my knuckles, just about to grab him by the hair, when a sudden cold sensation touched my neck. I froze, totally bewildered, and asked, "You're not actually scared to the point of crying, are you?" "I'm sorry. The last match was my fault." Huh? I was a bit stunned. Who does this? Keeping their mouth shut during VOD reviews, only to run into an escape room to repent. It's a 5-man game. What's the point of only apologizing to me? It's not just about the game. He stood up straight, his voice muffled as he continued. I shouldn't have always targeted you. I looked at you with colored glasses before. I was wrong. I apologize. Alright, I don't care about that. I was here to play professionally, not to make friends. How Julian viewed me didn't matter. We were just co-workers. He hated me, and I hated him. For my final year, I just wanted to win once, to give myself closure for these 3 years. As for Julian, he was an indispensable link in achieving that goal. So I had to let go of the past and take the initiative to extend an olive branch. Let's work hard together next season. Julian froze for a few seconds, wiped his tears, and shook my hand. I will work hard. That night, Julian earnestly apologized to the other teammates and promised to change. He promised to communicate more during games. It seems Dave was right. One team building event really did soften the atmosphere in the team a lot. The only one who suffered was the poor foreigner. He was so terrified by the Chinese-style horror that he ran a high fever for 2 days. While sitting on the plane back to Korea, he was still delirious, muttering nonsense. Marcus was traumatized by it. He didn't actually bump into a real ghost, did he? Enough. Stop jinxing it. I really didn't want to build synergy with a new player next season. Everyone hadn't even relaxed for a month before Dave called us back for commercial events. The group chat was filled with complaints. TG doesn't end their break until next month. What can we do? They're the champions. They played an extra half month for MSI. They start their break later. So they end it later. We can let the results slide, but the sponsors won't let us slide on this, right? Just reading that text, my brain automatically generated Dave's passive-aggressive tone. We had no choice. We were all corporate slaves. I resignedly dragged myself out of bed, put on 3 layers of clothes, and took a cab back to the team house to hide the marks from my chest binder. Every time, I had to wear a thick tank top under my clothes. In the middle of summer, I was practically breaking out in a heat rash. Before I left home, I tossed Liam a team house access pass. The event is in Seattle the day after tomorrow. Make sure you come over early. Got it. Don't worry. No matter how well I disguised myself, I couldn't fool airport security. So for the past 3 years, whenever we had to fly to another city for a match or event, I had Liam pretend to be me and travel with the team. Then I'd buy a ticket for the same flight and quietly switch places with him after going through security. This time was no exception. Except, Liam arrived too late. By the time he sneaked into my dorm room, the main group had already gathered downstairs. Didn't I tell you 9 a.m.? I was grinding solo queue too late last night and couldn't wake up. Stop dawdling. Change into the team uniform and get downstairs. I'll leave through the back door. The moment I opened the door, I saw Julian. His hand was suspended midair, a flash of surprise in his eyes. What are you dawdling for? Let's go. I can't. I need to use the bathroom. Give me a minute. Wait for me by the door. I'll be right out. Saying that, I moved to close the door, but Julian blocked it with his foot, looking confused. Just go. It's not like the bathroom doesn't have a door. I'll just wait here. Hurry up. No. Before I could finish, a muffled thud echoed from inside the room. What was that noise? A slow question mark formed in my mind. Could it be that idiot Liam with his unbalanced brain development, chirping over nothing again? Hearing the noise, Julian instantly became alert. He eyed me suspiciously. Is there someone in there? Oh, no. The more I denied it, the harder Julian pushed against the door. Seeing I couldn't stop him, I decided to turn around. Moving with lightning speed, I whipped off my jacket and, right before Julian burst in, threw myself forward and draped it over Liam's head. Only then did I realize, Liam must have tripped while putting on his pants. Because right now, he was sprawled on the floor, and his charcoal gray boxer briefs were extremely eye-catching. Julian's eyes widened, his amber pupils filled with absolute disbelief. It looked like he had suffered massive psychological trauma. He pointed at me and stuttered, Liam, you're actually gay? Hearing this, Liam kicked his legs once on the floor and gave up struggling. I think he was dead. Socially dead. Before I could even explain, it was like something clicked in Julian's brain. Furious, he grabbed my wrist and yanked me up from the floor. You actually brought someone back to the team house to hook up? What do you take me? What do you take us for? Let go. I was completely baffled, and my wrist was starting to hurt from his grip. But the more I struggled, the tighter he held on, until Liam crawled up from the floor. He pulled up his pants, covered half his face with the jacket, and kicked Julian out the door. What kind of brain-dead idiot is bullying my husband? Liam slammed the door shut with a bang, grabbed my shoulders, and asked, Are you okay? I shook my head and shoved my backpack into his arms. Just go. Everyone's waiting downstairs. Oh, and by the way, bro, stop wearing those baggy old man boxers. To be labeled gay and caught with that kind of quality, it felt very degrading. Hearing this, Liam covered his butt in horror. Holy shit, Lily, do you have any boundaries? Ever since we got back from Seattle, Julian had been avoiding me like the plague. Aside from running into each other in solo queue and scrims, he barely spoke a word to me. If we occasionally crossed paths in the hallway, he would lower his head and take a detour. Everyone else was confused by this. Why is he so quiet lately? Who knows what triggered him? Maybe he got flamed by fans for showing off his relationship. True. For the past few days, Julian had been acting crazy, treating X like his personal Instagram. Everything he posted was about his sweet dates. The two of them were going back and forth in the comments, calling each other hubby and wifey. It gave me full-body goosebumps. Ah, the love of elementary schoolers. I scoffed at it, until I saw the transaction amount. Casually transferring a 6-figure sum. I'm going to fight you rich people to the death. Wait, I'm a rich person now too. Hee hee. Just as I broke into a grin, Dave walked over, sporting a freshly shaved bald head. He opened his mouth and immediately let out a sigh. Ray, do me a favor and talk to Julian. I'm not saying he can't date, but tell him not to be so high profile. His fans are going to die of a stroke because of him. I took the phone and looked at the drama summary posted by Reddit users, scrolling down a long list. Wow. Julian's girlfriend was actually an obsessive superfan who managed to secure the bag? This guy is pretty open-minded. He can even fall in love with a stalker? The comments section was popping off too. Hardcore fans, team fans, haters, and casual onlookers were all grouped together flaming him. Does this guy have any shame? Look at your teammates. Every single one of them keeps their nose clean and focuses on the game. Red, Marcus, is 24 and isn't desperate. What are you? At 18, so desperate for? This is the state of our LCS. We finally get a decent rookie, and he's only played for half a year before desperately dmang and sleeping with fans. Julian, do you have any respect for your fans? We worked so hard to defend you and wash away your horrible spring split performance, and you repay us by hooking up with a superfan. You really deserve to go to hell. Can I say something? Meow Bunny, the girlfriend's handle, tried to slide into my bias's DMs too. Fuck. So she was just casting a wide net, and Julian was the only dumb pig who took the bait. Pfft. Reading up to this point, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. I totally validate the attack power of Julian's fans. But then I suddenly remembered. This Meow Bunny, I think she added me too. For several days in a row, our scrim results weren't great. I finally couldn't laugh anymore. I questioned Dave. I understood Dave. I became Dave. That evening, I knocked on Julian's door. Can we talk? Seeing it was me, Julian's face stiffened. The moment our eyes met, he unnaturally looked away. Cough, just say it here. I wasn't planning on going inside anyway, okay? Looks like he really was traumatized by Liam's boxers that day. Thinking about that, I couldn't help but find it a little funny. For a second, I lost my composure. What the hell are you laughing at? Julian crossed his arms, looking at me with intense annoyance. Nothing. I came to find you to remind you to get your head in the game. It's fine to date, but you need to focus your attention on the matches. After a long silence, Julian finally spoke. What about you? Aren't you dating too? You even brought the guy back to the team house, but I don't let it affect my competitive form. Hearing this, Julian lowered his head and gave a self-deprecating laugh. Right. You're so amazing. Nobody and nothing can ever affect you. Why is he speaking in riddles? But I decided to take it as a compliment, so I gladly accepted it. Thanks for the praise. No, Liam, this isn't fair. You can date, so why can't I? Who's stopping you? How about this? We both break up and just focus on playing well, okay? Huh? I jerked my head up. Julian's face was pale, his lips completely devoid of color. His eyelashes fluttered, and his mouth was pressed into a thin line. It took him a long while to speak again. If you really want to date, can you consider me? Was I hallucinating? Or was it actually Julian, not Minho Lee, who bumped into a ghost in the escape room that day? Once some things are said out loud, what follows isn't so hard. Julian let out a long breath, seeming to revert to his usual cynical, careless demeanor. He leaned against the doorframe and coldly snorted. That guy is about the same height as you. What era is it? Still wearing those baggy boxer shorts? I could smell the old man scent from a mile away. I'm telling you, how can you have such terrible taste? You have a top-tier handsome guy like me right in front of you, and you go for a country bumpkin? I guarantee I'm better than him in every single way. Do you want to try me out or not? Try who out? How? Bro, are you still speaking English? Why can't I understand a word you're saying? Hold on, Julian, what you're saying? You couldn't possibly mean you like me, right? Yes. Are you satisfied now? Julian flew into a rage out of humiliation, his cheeks flushing red. So, all that unreasonable targeting before finally made sense. It turned out he was angry and ashamed of his attraction to me, a man, which was why he kept picking fights with me over and over again. Once I figured that out, I frowned. No, I only like country bumpkins. I don't like you. Then I'm willing to be the side piece. You try me out, and if you're satisfied, I can take his place. That is entirely unnecessary. I turned around to leave, but to my surprise, Julian suddenly snapped, grabbing me and pulling me back. He gritted his teeth and said, "Then treat me like a dog, is that okay? I won't ask for anything. I won't even ask for the title of a side piece. Just use me to pass the time and entertain yourself, alright? Liam, I've humbled myself enough. Don't push your luck." Julian must have lost his mind. Since when do side pieces have titles? Seeing him relentlessly pestering me, I had to bring out the big guns. I'm a top. Julian's neck stiffened, his face instantly turning beet red, and he said with immense difficulty, "I can try." From the bottom of my heart, I gave Julian a thumbs up. This guy's rock bottom was truly impressive. Wow, eye-opening, bro, but still, no. Why? Sorry, but I don't play with second-hand goods. I'm not. I haven't even held her hand. She just waited at my hotel for my contact info. I was in such a mess back then, I just thought dating any girl would do. I've only had dinner with her twice. I swear I'm still. Julian frantically explained, even pulling out his phone to show me their chat history. I pressed my hand over his. Staring into his beautiful face, I gave a chilling smile. You're not, because I saw you in the shower. Liam, Julian roared, instinctively lowering his head, seeming deeply ashamed of the incident. That doesn't count. I stared at him expressionlessly. Actually, I had stumbled upon that incident by accident. That day, I specifically picked a time when everyone was sleeping to take a shower. I hadn't expected him to walk in halfway through. I had to hide in the stall and wait for him to finish. Who knew? Julian would go at it for over 30 minutes. Wrapped in a towel, I didn't even dare breathe too loudly, almost freezing to death in the shower stall. Everyone has moments when they need to relieve their desires. I originally didn't intend to bring it up, but Julian was simply too awful. The more he liked me, the more disgusted I felt. You don't get to decide what counts. I say you're secondhand. Julian's eyes darkened, and he abruptly grabbed my chin. He kissed me deeply. I was pinned against the wall, unable to move, his scorching body pressing against mine. The taste of rust filled my mouth. His face contorted in pain, but he still held me in a death grip. My hands, clutching my clothes, were pinned behind my back. The fabric made a faint tearing sound as I struggled. Suddenly, I felt a cold draft on my waist. A pair of hands slipped under the hem of my shirt, reaching up until Julian touched. As if struck by lightning, he froze. Julian's hands were trembling, and his voice was shaking too. You're a... I tried hard to steady my breathing and wipe the blood from the corner of my mouth. I swung my arm in a wide arc and slapped him hard across the face. My team ring left a bloody scratch on his cheek. I stared into his eyes and said viciously, yeah, so? Are you going to expose me? Liam, you were playing me, weren't you? Why didn't you tell me? Do you know how long it took me to convince myself that I was? Julian's eyes were bloodshot, large tears mixing with the blood and rolling down his face. He cried so pathetically, as if he was the one who had been wronged. But, Liam, thank God, you really are a girl. The anger in Julian's eyes melted into joy, while I watched coldly. I scoffed. What are you so happy about? Seeing that I'm a girl, you should feel even more ashamed, because you forgot to put up your facade in front of me. It let me see that deep down, you look down on women. You look down on your female fans. You look down on your girlfriend. And you look down on my femininity. I'm sorry. I'll work hard to change. He hung his head, like a child who had done something wrong. I didn't have time to play his little romance games. I would never like a garbage person like him. I grabbed the door handle and left one last sentence before walking away. Julian, love doesn't bring me satisfaction. I'm standing here for one goal, and that is the championship. If you want to apologize, you know what to do. After the summer split began, Julian really did settle down a lot. He practiced obediently every day. He even picked up the late game carry mid-lane champions he previously hated playing, practicing them page by page in his match history. Dave expressed immense relief at this, and I also breathed a sigh of relief. After all, Julian's mad dog personality was like a ticking time bomb. It could go off at any moment. The five of us had been building synergy for half a year, and we had a new coach. Our regular season games went much smoother than before. We won almost every match 2 o'clock, rarely going to game 3. Ever since that day's revelation, Julian and I had zero private interactions. Everyone focused on the gameplay, which was a good thing for both of us. The summer split schedule was very tight. Although VG had a home stadium and didn't have to fly around, we still had to play quite a few back-to-back matches. The mental pressure was immense, and it was under these circumstances that I discovered inside my locker, I was missing a bra. It was brand new, and since it was women's clothing, I would never just carelessly leave it lying around. The only possibility was, someone broke in and rifled through my things. They didn't take anything else, just a bra, which highly suggested they had discovered my secret. I thought about it and dialed Liam's number. A few days later, a burner X account added me. The other party didn't say anything, just sent a picture right off the bat. I clicked to enlarge it. Sure enough, it was the bra I had lost. The person who could sneak into the dorms and steal things was definitely someone from the team house. But VG's team house was huge. Besides League of Legends, there were several mobile game divisions. Everyone's elevator cards had unrestricted access, so you could swipe to any floor. For a moment, I really didn't have any leads. Until he sent another message. $5 million. When the new message popped up, my jaw dropped involuntarily. Talk about extortion. Back when Liam signed for 3 years, it was only a few million. This guy comes out of the gate asking for $5 million. Does he even understand how the industry works? Wait, on second thought, maybe it's because he understands so well. That's why he dares to ask for that amount. Which means, he knows Dave signed a supplementary agreement with me last year? I think I might know who it is. I didn't plan on entertaining him, so I screenshotted the message and forwarded it to Liam. Who would have thought? This guy would actually keep messaging me for over a month. The regular season was over, and he was still sending messages. Every time I opened X, it was him tirelessly demanding $5 million. So annoying. I almost couldn't resist replying, "Aren't you tired?" But today's message was a little different. He didn't ask for $5 million again, Instead, he sent a warning. If you don't reply by tonight, I'm leaking everything. Finally, something fresh. I screenshotted it, sent it to Liam, and went downstairs to queue up for Ranked. The final season. Lily Sullivan, you need to work even harder. The next day, the burner account teamed up with a streamer to drop the leak, claiming that VG's jungler, Volt, was actually female. The moment this was said, the chat was filled with Lu. Almost no one believed it. People were too lazy to even re-upload the original video, afraid of giving the streamer any engagement, because the content was so absurd. It actually sparked quite a bit of discussion. Looking at the title, I thought the haters were back. I was just wondering why Ray has been playing so well lately. Total bullshit. Let alone domestically, Ray has played at Worlds for 2 years. What about going overseas? Can't people tell the difference between a man and a woman? Do you think VG is some omnipotent Illuminati org? I suspect the leaker might be a hardcore Ray shipper who has lost their mind from all the shipping. When Dave saw this, he didn't even ask me about it. He just had the social media team post a 2-word response. Absurd. Seeing that no one was buying it, the streamer quickly distanced himself from the leaker, sliding into the comments to apologize. But a few days later, he made a comeback, mysteriously playing a video on his stream. The content was exactly the video the leaker took while stealing my bra and tampons, specifically framing my Jungler of the Year trophy in the shot. Watching that video, my stomach churned. This guy even stole tampons? If he had said he liked them, I would have prepared a used pack for him. Holy shit, that trophy. It really is Liam's room. I compared it to Ray's signing vlog from the year before last. The room layout and decor are exactly the same as in this video. Although it sounds bad to defend him like this, what if he just has a specific fetish? Collecting bras I can understand, collecting tampons I cannot. Dave was so furious at the streamer he was blowing a gasket. Despite having mouth ulcers everywhere, he cursed loudly. Don't let me catch the thief who stole that bra. Then he glanced at me unnaturally. Ray, it's fine. We're young guys full of testosterone. It's normal to have some hobbies. Everyone supports you. No one is going to look down on you. Then why can't you look me in the eye? Dave hesitated, and I smiled. I won't mess with you guys anymore. My sister bought those. She used my account and forgot to change the address. Didn't you notice the packaging hasn't even been opened? It was true. For these 3 years, I had put all my feminine products back into their original packaging when not in use, making them look like they had never been opened. Just in case they were discovered, I'd have an excuse. Of course, not explaining would be fine too. It's not like I was the real Liam Sullivan anyway. I didn't need to care about his reputation. You have a sister? Why didn't you ever mention her? How old is she? About my age. Don't worry about them. Let's focus on the match. I brushed it off and shifted the focus back to next week's BO5, which would determine if we made it to the finals, and whether we could secure a ticket to Worlds. Compared to the championship, those 2 clowns meant absolutely nothing to me. After the VOD review ended, Julian used a voice only I could hear and asked carefully, "Twin?" "Yeah." The day of the grand finals, we fought all the way to Game 5. When the Silver Scrapes anthem started playing, I stared at the ceiling, trying my hardest to clear my mind. My heartbeat gradually settled down. It felt like returning to the day of my debut. Back then, I had no competitive drive, so I wasn't nervous for matches at all. I just thought I'd play casually and stall until my brother came back. But after losing 3 games in a row, I saw the disappointment in the fans' eyes. For the first time in my life, I experienced what it meant to feel ashamed. On the professional stage, a single micro mistake is enough to leave a player with lifelong regrets. Yet I was wasting my potential with zero conviction. The bullet I fired in my ignorant youth eventually struck me right between the eyes during those 3 future finals. Waking up in the dead of night, I felt like I was finished. I thought I might never escape the shadow of those finals nights. Actually, every word I used to curse Julian was secretly directed at my past self. Loading into the game, the coach asked, "What do you say, Julian? First pick Azir, alright?" Pick whatever. I can play them all." Julian cracked his wrists and tilted his chin up proudly. I clapped symbolically. Approved. Approved +1. I also approve. You can play. Unanimous approval. Lock it in. When Ethan locked in his ear, the entire arena erupted in piercing screams, especially our own fans. It was basically a scene of mass mourning, mixed with a few shouts of, "Draft properly, you stupid pig coach, you should step down too." After all, everyone knew Julian's Azir was famously disastrous. The enemy jungler is already locked. If you wait until the next phase, you'll only get the leftovers. How about Pantheon? Ray, Lee Sin is up too. We could make this a mental block breaking game today. I'll play Ollie Star, you play Lee Sin, and Ethan can pick Renekton. Let's atone for our past. No, I can't be the only ADC carrying you guys. We can choose the Lee Sin skin later. Let's lock Pantheon first for this patch, I said with a smile, and the coach spoke up. Alright, Pantheon and Leona, lock them in. After the draft ended, I took a deep breath. Let's go. The final game. Player Volt. Starting tomorrow, you go back to being Lily Sullivan. For this dragon fight, TG positioned first. VG's vision line is hard to push, so they have to send Leona in first. Leona misses her zenith blade. The dragon is secured by TG. What happens next? VG could retreat and force Baron. Wait, the bait worked. TG fell for it. Wow, Azir flashes in and shuffles 3 members back. This could be a game-ending play. Pantheon instantly ults in to secure the kills. TG is only left with their support. They can't clear the minion wave. Just hit the Nexus and they win. Let's congratulate VG on taking the Summer Finals victory 3:2. When the dazzling victory exploded on the screen, the entire world seemed to hit the mute button. My fingertips trembled slightly, and the blood in my veins felt like it had frozen. Golden rain suddenly poured down, and the roaring shouts of my teammates erupted through my headset. I thought I heard. Someone was crying. Everyone hugged each other excitedly. No words could describe how I felt in that moment. 3 years of blood and tears forged into a sharp blade, breaking through the darkness to see the dawn. Let's congratulate VG Esports on finally breaking the runner-up curse today. The stars fall. The new kings are crowned. Lift the trophy, VG. I lifted the trophy, looking up at the ceiling. So the spotlight for the victors was actually this blinding. Belatedly, I realized, the person crying seemed to be me. I closed my eyes and pressed a piece of golden confetti over my heart. Please remember this feeling forever. Tears really can be sweet. After winning the championship, the public opinion surrounding me gradually died down. In esports, being bad at the game is the original sin. As long as you can win, nobody cares about your private life. Let alone me being a girl. Even if I were an alien, they wouldn't say a word. They would only ask me, do aliens take up an import slot? Except the leaker and the streamer were still using the secretly filmed videos to farm views. They swore on their entire family's lives that I was absolutely female. The organization released a statement explaining the situation, and demanded an apology from the streamer. But the streamer, having tasted the sweet metrics, refused to apologize no matter what. He even clamored for me to do a public physical examination. In response, I tagged him on X. Are you asking for a lawsuit? Then, I did something incredibly unethical. I uploaded every single photo of Liam, from his naked baby pictures all the way to his graduation photos, in one massive dump. Hehe. It wasn't me anyway, so posting them wasn't embarrassing at all. It included photos of Liam swimming last year. I have to say, all that physical therapy really made him look like an athlete. The public was in an uproar. No wonder Ray always wore 3 layers of clothes. Turns out he was afraid of giving his teammates an inferiority complex. Little Red, Marcus, don't tag me. Supports are supposed to be cute. Anyone who believed Ray was a girl needs their head checked. After the matches were over, I finally had time to settle the score with my old comrade. I posted the evidence Liam and our lawyers had gathered, pointing directly at the leaker, Zhang Han, VG's former coach. Because I had recommended the new coach to Dave, he held a grudge against me and searched my room for any secrets that could ruin me. I have to admit, he actually found one. It's just a pity that in this world, there really is a man named Liam Sullivan. Actually, him losing his job wasn't entirely because of me. The management fired him to placate the fans. When it comes down to it, we really have to thank Julian's mom fans for getting that useless scrub fired. Coach Zhang, 5 million is not a small number. It's enough for you to spend quite some time in prison. Also, as for you and the streamer betting your entire families, I'll gladly accept that for now. After the summer split ended, Liam and I completely switched back. They were busy preparing for the World Championship boot camp, while I was busy preparing my documents to study abroad. I played professionally for 3 years. My education was stuck at high school. I couldn't accept that. Worlds is great, but I was already very satisfied. That life belonged to Player Volt, not Lily Sullivan. So I'll just let it end here, putting a perfect period on my professional career. The day I left, I didn't say goodbye to anyone, nor did I leave any contact information. Later, I heard from Liam. Actually, everyone realized he wasn't me, but nobody brought it up. Only Minho Lee would occasionally sigh mid-scrim. Did the meta silently shift? Why is Ray taking care of the bot lane so much now? Later, it seemed like everything had changed. And yet, it seemed like nothing changed. For example, Liam still had a lot of shippers treating him like a fragile bottom. Wah, Ray is just a sweet little girl. Before, I'd occasionally get swept away by his cold, handsome face. But ever since he came back from winning the championship, he feels softer. Now he just smiles goofily at everything. Before, fans treating me like a sub was probably due to intuition. Now, treating Liam like one is purely because he really has a punchable, submissive face. Another example, Volt and Vexx's relationship is still terrible. However, what's weird is that now it seems to have turned into Liam one-sidedly hurling insults, while Julian never talks back. He changed a lot. He intentionally stopped using insulting nicknames for champions. He stopped swearing during his streams, and he stopped calling his 80% female fanbase brothers. He said he didn't want to be a piece of trash, and then logically die at 18. He hoped there was still saving for him. Half a year later, I logged into my gaming burner account, and a message popped up from a pro player named Vexx. I'm working hard not to be so awful anymore.